All right, good morning, everybody. It is just about 8 o'clock. Figured I'd pop on a few seconds early today, but it's okay. We'll dilly dally for a minute while the rest of the folks come on in. But anyway, it's Sunday morning. Good morning to you. This is Coffee Talk. We get together just about 7 days a week, chat about what's going on in the world of weather, sip coffee or coffee type products, I guess, and do our thing. Apologies about yesterday. Working on some stuff and just needed to continue working on said stuff. And the weather was fairly quiet, so figured we could roll with the punches. But today, we're back, baby. And I hope you're having a great weekend so far. I mean, it is stunning outside. Two big stories to follow in the world of weather. First, of course, we will discuss our Sunday forecast around Central Florida. Talk about that sunshine, talk about that beautiful weather, and we will be discussing barrel, which is barreling toward the shoreline, being picked up on National Weather Service radar out of Texas, showing clearly, but where exactly does the storm go? Of course, we'll keep the satellite loop statistics and forecast cone in that bottom left corner for you through Coffee Talk, but we'll really get into some of the nitty gritty. And then what's next afterward? Is there any other systems that we have to watch for? Certainly lots to discuss in the world of weather. But before we get into anything else, let's just kind of get a lay of the land, see what's doing this morning. Downtown Orlando looking absolutely beautiful. Sun coming on up. Let's head over to Tavares. Is that guy there? Am I crazy or is this guy here like trying to get the boat ready? You see it right there? Has no idea we're all looking at him. Him or her. Oh yeah. Oh, look at the boat. Boat's going out. Can we come? Speaking of boats, Port Canaveral, let's see what's doing over there in Brevard County. Oh, yeah. It's looking pretty. That sun on its way up. New Smyrna Beach certainly will be a busy spot today. Already some people coming on out. So, yeah, it's a gorgeous morning. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. First warning live Doppler radar. Let's check, see what's doing around Central Florida this morning. Nice and quiet. No rain to speak of. Here's a look at our temperatures around town. Upper 70s, lower 80s. So you got to love that. Um, Forecast today may get into some records, may get close. It's another day where the heat and the humidity are going to be playing against us. We are calling this afternoon impact weather. You see those icons there. It's not to scare you. It's just to let you know, like, heat advisories are posted for parts of Central Florida again today. 96 our 3 o'clock temperature, 94 through about dinner time. So here's where those heat advisories are posted. Heat advisory for Sumter, for Polk County, because those feels like temperatures get to 111 degrees. It's going to be a significant hot day again today. Let's just look at where we're at 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, already mid to upper 80s. But where do we go from here? All right, let's take a look at Futurecast. All right, feels like temperatures on our Futurecast model. And of course, we'll get to the rain. Don't you worry. All right, there we go. Watch through time. I zipped through it too quickly. All right, 10 a.m. already mid to upper 90s. 12:30, 1 o'clock, feeling like 103 in Orlando, 107 in Claremont. Look at that. 3 p.m. Oh, man. Feels like 107 in Claremont, 105 in Orlando, 111 in Wildwood. This is significant heat, my friends, through 4, 5, 6 o'clock. And as a matter of fact, the National Weather Service has this new product. It's called the heat risk. All right. So let's just kind of discuss, like, heat risk takes into account the heat, the humidity, how odd it is for that time of year, how long that heat is sticking around. And here's today's heat risk for Central Florida. Certainly the beaches are going to be hot, but notice that they're in that moderate category. That's not as big of a concern. What is a big concern is the red areas, which is basically all of the inland spots, and then we're even starting to see some of the purple. So we're in a major heat risk to an extreme heat risk today. What does that mean? Major impacts anyone without effective cooling. Extreme is a fairly rare event, impacts anyone without cooling and hydration. So the takeaway from this is if you're not careful, you could run into some significant issues. Um, and I say this not anecdotally. Just the other day, I was at the station and I was flying in the morning, and Manolfi was like, "How was that?" And I'm like, "Dude, I feel zapped." And Manolfi's like, "I changed the chemicals in the pool, and I feel zapped." Um, those are two non-strenuous activities. I mean, flying is. I'm not like putting a roof on a house. He's doing pool chemicals, not putting a roof on a house, right? So you could really get that fairly quickly. So really and truly, my friends, try to be careful. If you're heading out to the water park today, it's going to feel like 100 degrees, so that's a good idea to stay cool. If you're heading out to like Epcot or any of the, this is not where I'm going. It's hot out. It's seriously, seriously hot out. So please be careful. All right. That's kind of where we're at today. In terms of records versus the forecast, Orlando is going to be awful close, right? Record 97, forecast 96, right? Leesburg is going to be within a couple of degrees. So there's that. Jeannie's asking, what did people do before AC or pools? We are so spoiled. 100% we're spoiled. They just sat like idly in the shade. You know? Michelle's asking, is it the humidity that makes it feel so gross? Yes. So look at the dew point temperatures. Ba, 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 ba. Dew points. Here we are. All right. This is the part. Like mid 70s, upper 70s. That's, Michelle, why it feels horrid. Yeah. Katie says Epcot in this heat would not be fun. 0 out of 0 would not or 0 out of 5 would not recommend. Yeah. So Brian's asking any storms around today. So let's look at the day planner forecast today. And there's a 30 to 40% coverage. A little more than yesterday. So that's good, right? Where is that overall coverage? Here's kind of the coverage map. All right. So my East Coast friends, not looking good for you. Sorry. Mainly going to be kind of Metro I-4 off to the west. So let's dial up our Futurecast model and see what's doing, all right? So here we are, 8 o'clock in the morning, partly cloudy skies. We're looking good. Through the morning, lunchtime, yep, still looking good. Into 2, 3 o'clock, see those storms out west. Yeah, not a ton on our Futurecast model. I'm curious. That's our long-range Futurecast. Let me dial up the rapid update. This is the hourly Futurecast. Let it load. I just want to see if it shows more rain or less rain. It's almost the same thing. Interesting. So Futurecast is going pretty dry today. All right, let's go to the HER model. Just want to check. Where are you? All right, let's pull up the HER model. Stand by. All right. Here's the HER model. I'm just thrill me, would you? All right, HER model. Okay, HER's going a little stormier. I think that this is probably a better idea for today. Couple of popcorn showers and storms, and then like maybe a bit of a collision around 8, 9 o'clock, around the metro area. That kind of seems a little more like what I'm thinking. So that's what I would be going with. HER stands for, if you're not like a normal coffee talker and you don't kind of dial into the weather a lot, the HER stands for the High Resolution Rapid Refresh. It's not Futurecast. It's HER. All right. Now that said, let me go back to Futurecast. And I'm just curious because I've got a flight tomorrow at noon and I want to go down to lunch in Vero. I just want to see. This is for me. May not be the greatest forecast for that. It may not be. We'll have to watch that. We'll see. We'll keep tabs on it. Oh, well. All right. So any questions about the forecast for us here today? Big heat, humidity, all that fun stuff. 94, 95, 96 degrees. Lots of heat and humidity. Kimberly, good morning from Pace. Love your coffee talk. Was curious. Barrel has made landfall a few times. What hurricane has made the most landfalls? I know in Florida, I believe it was Faye made like 4 different landfalls in Florida, but I don't know that statistic. We're going to talk tropics in just a few seconds. I just want to get through our local stuff first. Today, disgusting and hot. All right, let's pull up the 7-day forecast so that we can discuss that part too. All right. Here we go. 60% coverage of rain Monday, Tuesday. 70%. Yeah, so rain chances dramatically going up. Looking ahead to the work week, right? Mickey, it's the heat. It's the heat. Heat for today. Impact weather today because of the heat. Yeah. Yeah. Karen, thank you for the exhausting work you do to keep us informed. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Karen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Questions, comments, concerns. Linda says didn't have AC until 89. You just live your life in sweat. Yeah. Well, and I just imagine, when it's just hot and disgusting out and dangerous, it's not one of those things that you're gonna do. Michelle, will it be rained out? What be rained out? My flight? If I have to stay in the pattern or just stay local, I'll stay local. Maybe I can get the airplane a little early and run down to Vero Beach. I want to grab lunch at Vero Beach. That's what I wanted to do. Oh well. All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns about the local forecast? Rain chances are going up. Okay, rain chances are going up. Steven, are you the Steven that I'm familiar with from Perfect Match? Steven says we moved to Texas last month, but I'm still watching you for barrel updates. I got you, Steven. We'll talk tropics next. All right. All right. So let's get into kind of just what we are following in the tropics. So there's Tropical Storm Beryl, 8 a.m. intermediate advisory. Vero Beach lunch. Yeah. Well, and if I was just looking yesterday because Frank's over in Pinellas, and so like I'm like, all right, I got to get a flight over to Albert Whitted to have lunch with Frank. Now that I'm current and ready to go. All right. So winds for Tropical Storm Beryl are at 60 miles an hour. Let's just look at a couple of things here. Okay, satellite presentation doesn't look that great. Pressure's at 992 millibars, but recon mission is in there as we speak. Let's just roll through time. 992 is the official, but recon has found a pressure of 988 millibars. So it does seem like the storm is trying to intensify a little bit. All right. That is the forecast from the National Hurricane Center, after all. The official forecast from NHC does bring it to hurricane status by landfall. All right, here's the forecast from the Hurricane Center. Briefly making it to a Category 1 storm before making its way ashore and weakening and becoming a big rainmaker. So, yeah, there's some time for it to get stronger. Not a ton. That said, though, speaking of not a ton, that means that we are approaching landfall for this. So hurricane watches and warnings, all kinds of advisories are posted for our friends and family here. Let's just kind of do the rundown of things, all right? So for our friends and family right in South Texas, all right, Brownsville, all right, we've got tropical storm warnings and hurricane watches posted. Then up to about Corpus Christi, the red hurricane warnings, that extends all the way up through Galveston. And Galveston, a tropical storm warning is in effect. And these go inland. That also means that for Houston, a tropical storm warning is in effect. So for our friends and family that live in Houston, that means tropical storm conditions. Okay, tropical storm warning means tropical storm conditions are expected within 36 hours. Okay, that means for our friends in Houston, tropical storm is coming. For our friends in Corpus Christi, that means a hurricane warning is in effect for Corpus. That means that a hurricane is coming. Port Aransas, Rockport. These are all Seadrift. These are beautiful spots that are no stranger, certainly, to hurricanes. Okay, a couple of things here. This is not going to be Hurricane Harvey, but it is going to be a storm. It is going to be something that's going to impact them, right? All right. So let's look at how our Futurecast plays this out compared to scene camera. Do this. So what we've done here, let me just do this reveal real fast. Stand by, don't judge me. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the National Hurricane Center's cone and I'm going to show you our Futurecast model with the Hurricane Center's cone. All right. Perfect. So our Futurecast model compared to the Hurricane Center's cone, our Futurecast model has been on the right side of the Hurricane Center's cone for a while. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. All right. So let's just follow this through time. So there's that center of circulation. And our Futurecast and the National Hurricane Center's cone are basically directly in line at this point. So you're looking at landfall kind of. I'll just bring it right in. Hold on. Let's do this. And let's just see. So Futurecast is showing kind of the worst of the weather. Bay City, right? Galveston, that's going to be early tomorrow morning, center of circulation coming ashore. That would put Galveston in, a peripheral element. And it makes sense that Houston's under tropical storm warning because, at least according to this, the worst of the weather would probably be south of them. But look at that. Like tomorrow's morning commute in Houston is going to be just messy, to say the least. It's just going to be messy. Afterward, kind of sneaks on through, weekends, lots of heavy rainfall, but more messy than anything. There's Lake Charles, kind of staying inland from there. And then afterward, let's just follow this through time, gets into Shreveport, Texarkana, gets into northwest Arkansas, Fort Smith, Fayetteville. And then watch how afterward, all that moisture, look at it, St. Louis, Missouri, up to Cincinnati, Ohio. Look at that. All that rain. Yep. Yep. Good times. Lots of moisture with this thing, right? Yep. Now, what about wind gusts? You curious about that? Let's pull up the Futurecast wind gust product. I'm just using Futurecast. It's the highest resolution grid we have. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to play with this just a little bit. I'm going to plop some wind plots on here. Just a second. Labels. This is where the sausage is made. Automatic labels, and I'm going to put more automatic labels on. Label density. Display cities or towns. All right. All right. So what I'm going to do is this is Futurecast. Give me a few seconds here. Add data plot. This is boring. Yeah, you'll be all right. Add. Why am I? Interesting. Live hazard display. There's a bunch of other stuff that just got added. All right. Add plot. I gotta find OBM meter. Where is Futurecast? Wind speed. There it is. Snow. Nope. Plot templates. Hold on, guys. Give me a second. Meter. Ah, here we go. All right. And then pick on Earth. I'm just going to start plopping stuff down. Houston, whatever Cleveland is, Beaumont, High Island. I'm just going to start plopping a bunch on here. Carmine, Gonzales, Austin, San Antonio. All right, very good. Done. All right, so let's just look at some of these wind speeds. These are some gusts, all right? I'll zoom in just a little bit. Right, so Brazosport, Garwood. Notice Houston tropical storm force winds, right? Strong tropical storm, but tropical storm force winds. Whereas just south and west of Houston, Garwood, Victoria, you're getting into hurricane force winds there. So there it is. There it is. All right. Sound good? Anovius says, I don't miss hurricanes. Yeah, I could see how you wouldn't miss hurricanes. They're easy to not miss. What does Beryl do with Florida's Gulf Coast? Dean Hatchie, will it be good scalloping weather on it? I mean, this is other side of the Gulf. So yeah, you're not going to have any problems with this one. So anyway, kind of interesting, kind of interesting. Figured I'd share all the nerd data with you, right? Behind Beryl, happy to say there's nothing else. Let's see here. Hold on. I was at work yesterday. Let me get this. For us, sounds good. Yeah, no problem, right? Yeah, for the rest of the Atlantic, we're into a bit of a quiet stretch. Pattern does show, though, by the end of July, we should kind of start phasing things back up. So, got a little bit of a break. That's good. All right. When it comes to Texas, by the way, severe weather threat getting into a scattered threat for strong to severe storms there today. Looking at SPC tomorrow. Move it over to Texas. Yeah, no surprise. That threat lifts to the north. So, anyway, that's kind of where we're at. All right. Questions, comments, concerns? I don't know that the sun is up high enough for the viz, but we can try it. Put you there. I don't know if the visible's going to show up just yet. It's thinking. It's thinking. It's thinking. Yeah, just starting to see the viz. The infrared satellite will be working, and frankly, this is going to be the 1 minute data. It'll be interesting to see how that looks. I feel like the storm has been here for a month now. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. Yeah, that's the center of circulation. So, bleh. It's thankfully it's not a big organized beast at this point. It's kind of a sloppy mess at this point. Yeah. Here, I'll put the radar up. Storm surge. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be some storm surge concerns. Hurricane Center does have storm surge advisories published. Storm surge warnings, storm surge watches. In terms of surge, Corpus Christi Bay 3 to 5 feet surge, Galveston Bay 3 to 5 feet, Mesquite Bay to San Luis Pass 4 to 6 feet. So there's definitely going to be some surge happening there. Rainfall 5-10 could see up to 15 inches of rain in some spots. And yeah, this evening, overnight tornado threat certainly will be a concern, particularly on the right front quadrant of the storm system. Yeah. Cindy says one of the cable news networks was hyping this so much yesterday. All I could do is roll my eyes. My favorite line was, if you don't listen to the weather forecast, don't be surprised if you don't survive. Seriously, somebody said this? I mean, inherently, storms are threatening. But that reminds me of when Shepard Smith, was it Dorian, was like, I don't remember the exact line, but I remember it was something so out of left field. It was like, oh, Jesus. So, yeah, I'm going to tell you the same thing that I tell you all the time, which is like, let's just not freak out. We'll track the stuff. We'll be okay. All right? I'm going to keep asking Eric Burris, meteorologist, today, any cold fronts on the way? Not here. No cold fronts on the way here, sadly. God, I wish there were, though. Oh man. How wide is barrel? I mean, based on what metric? So like if you're trying to do like side to side like that, but it's like it's but there's a ton of, there's a ton of sunshine. Like there's 100 miles of sunshine in there, so it's like what metric are we using? Matt says Shepard Smith has been a tool since WSVN. You know that he worked in Orlando? He worked at one of the local stations here in Orlando. Did you know that? I've never met him. I'm not gonna say he's a tool or not a tool, but yeah. Yukon says didn't like him when he was local. Yeah, yeah, you remember that. So there you go. You think it will produce a lot of tornadoes once it's reached inland? Tropical systems are always feisty. They're always those little buggers you gotta watch, man. I would just say honestly, like the right front quadrant of tropical systems, you always have to watch. Yeah. Josue, did they really find 988 millibars? That was the last that I saw a second ago on Recon, the last Vortex message. Yeah, 988 millibars. Now they're about to punch again, so it'll be interesting to see what Vortex message they send out on that. But yeah, earlier they found 988. So it's deepening. Doesn't look great, but hope this doesn't delay Starship launch prep, right? I mean, I think this is going to be further north. So yeah. See, I remember WCPX before it was WKMG. I don't remember being WDB. Yeah, Yukon, you and I as well. I remember CPX for sure. I swear that's a decent drop. I mean, radar presentation doesn't look terrible on the thing. So anyway, all right, that's where we're at with Barrel. Nothing behind it, thankfully. So once this is done, we'll get a chance to breathe a sigh of relief. Phil Klotzbach, though, posted something kind of interesting. Tropical Storm Beryl has just surpassed Emily in 2005 as the leading Atlantic single storm ACE generator, forming prior to 1st of August on record. ACE is integrated metric accounting for storm intensity and duration. So let's just take a look at, he points that out from '05. So let's just look. I don't have the graphic built, but let's just nerd out for a second. All right, so tropics. Let me get to my data points here. All right, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to pull up the archive data for '05. So, in terms of tropical data, all right, so we have 34 ACE points for this year. The metric of tropical intensity and duration. We have 34 ACE points through today. The average through today is 3.4. So we are running way above. Now, where were we in '05 through today? Today is 707 ACE 2005. 2005 through today, we had 8.8 ACE points. Are we actually 34? Okay, so I'm just looking here. The North Atlantic Basin has 34 ACE points. I think we are higher in ACE, significantly higher than in ACE than we've ever been through today. I'm just looking. 2021, we'd had 11.8 ACE points through today. 17 in 1966, 21 in 1951, 32 in 1933. We have never had, yeah, 33 it was the closest. So we've never had this many ACE points through today's date, which is wild. So Tiffany's asking, what are ACE points? So think of it as a tropical system develops, and it develops ACE. And it's the way Phil Klotzbach explained it, ACE is an integrated metric accounting for storm intensity and duration. So the longer a storm is, the more points it develops. The stronger a storm gets, the more points it develops. So if you get like a 5-week long tropical depression, it's going to develop very little ace points. But if you have a category 5 hurricane that's there for a day, it's going to develop a ton of ace points. So it's kind of this direct metric of a tropical season's energy. It's accumulated cyclonic energy. So we, if my quick research showed, we are beating 1933 for ace points through today, and that's the closest thing. And Matt says 1933 finished with 259 ace points. Yeah, that's nerd stuff. You're not going to hear your TV meteorologist talk about ace on TV very much because it's just boring stuff. But like for nerds, look, you're here on a Sunday morning talking to a meteorologist about the weather, for God's sake. So we're nerds here. It is kind of interesting. Michael says, I've been following closely your work using the LRC to create long-range forecasts. Where does Barrel fit into the preseason forecast? I don't see a predicted pattern that matches this particular system. Good question. So if we go back to... where are you? If we go back to November 15th, daily weather map... All right. So that's November 15th, 16th, 17th. Yeah. So there was an upper low around the 15th that was south of Jamaica. And I'll show it to you here. This is November 15th. It showed up, but it was an upper level low, and it was not one copy. Image address. Standby. Oh my God, my kids. They are insane. All right. Unlock you. There we are. All right. So this was November 15th's 500 millibar level. And you can kind of see that storm system making its way right there around the Yucatan. Then that's November. I'm sorry, that's not November 15th. Jeez Louise, Burris. Hold on. Let me fix this and put it in as November 15th. Hold on. 2023, 11, 15. There it is. All right. There. Okay, so you can kind of see it there, near the Cayman Islands. So that's the 15th. So it showed up. So essentially, it was a piece of the pattern, and it kind of cruised through the Caribbean, worked to the Yucatan, and eventually it worked into Mexico. So it stayed further south each time. This one, it's obviously sneaking further north. It was there. We just kind of didn't think that it was going to be a big part of the pattern. The surface part of the pattern is what we were more looking at in this time frame. So there was a hint of it, but this was not a part of our long range pattern. And I always say, like, during hurricane season, you're usually going to get one or two of these things that just kind of pop up in other parts of the pattern that you don't forecast. Phil Klotzbach put it best, saying long range forecasting is very humbling. I'm never going to tell you I'm perfect. So it's there. Going back, you see, that's the 15th. If we go to the 16th, it had already kind of started to weaken. And each time it weakened, 16th to 17th, there's the trough. There's the trough over Florida, which lets it recurve to Texas now. It just never lasted in previous cycles. So there you go. There's usually one or two storms that are just going to be little pieces. As long as each future run of this goes to more of that surface feature instead of the upper level feature, will be good. But it's not perfect. And I always laugh when people get feisty about it. It's like, dude, it's not perfect. I've never once sat here and said it's perfect. CC, so now does this become part of the pattern? I don't think so. It just favored the upper level part this time around. I would suspect the next time around it would feature the surface part, which would put kind of Florida a little more in that threat window. So we'll see. Mickey says, I feel like this may be a learning opportunity for future LRC predictions, but to be fair, this year was one of the most complicated low patterns I've seen. Yes, it's difficult. And is it a learning opportunity? It never showed up at the surface. So why would I have included it? It's going to sometimes, yes, but it's there. We found it. I think that it's probably this is the one version that goes to the surface. That's usually like it flips. I have found you usually get one part of the pattern that flips and brings upper level recycles to the surface. There's enough that I don't understand about this, so you just keep learning. As you said, it's a learning opportunity, but would I have done it differently? Probably not. Did the best I could, right? Who would have thought predicting the future would be difficult? Dude, you're not kidding. And to anyone that that's following along, I have no problems not being perfect. I'm doing the best I can. Yeah, Yukon says a forecast is just that, a good prediction, just like other science, especially economics. Right. We put our forecast out in March, and and the one thing too, and then I have to run. But the one thing that I'm still very, very proud of is our forecast prediction on the numbers. We had called for a higher percentage of stronger storms this year. That was our big number part. So anyway, that's where we're at. All right, I'm gonna go breakfast with the family. Be the sunshine in someone else's day, y'all. Take care. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll talk to you later tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Bye.